Everyone experiences growth in life through various stages, which becomes evident when we reflect on the milestones from infancy to adulthood to aging. However, understanding these stages of growth becomes more challenging when we narrow our focus to a specific lifestyle choice like minimalism. For me, the journey began with decluttering not too long ago, and I recently found myself in a stage that I hadn't anticipated being part of my minimalist journey. Initially, my goal was simple: to redefine myself, understanding that it required letting go, not just of physical possessions, but also mentally and emotionally. Now that I've progressed, the milestones of this journey have become clearer to me. Therefore, today, I aim to discuss the 5 stages of minimalism and highlight their key distinctions. My intention is for you to gain a broader perspective, identify where you stand in your journey, and take the necessary steps toward the next stage. Stage 1. Curiosity. This is where you experience the most noticeable change in your mindset and perspective. Discovering the lifestyle of minimalism and the community behind it fosters excitement and, well, curiosity. You're the new kid on the block, and you're immersing yourself in the benefits of living with less. This means you're watching videos, reading books and blogs about decluttering. Perhaps you're considering joining a Facebook group, but you're also taking mental notes on the best practices you hear about. While deeply contemplating aspects of your own life you want to change. Now, eventually, once your curiosity meter is maxed out, you enter stage 2, where you start decluttering. Knowing where to start when getting started is not necessarily a straightforward answer, because it's different for everyone, but your excitement pushes you to get started regardless of not knowing where to start. This second stage is where you learn so much about yourself and your consumption habits. And I'd argue this is where 95% of people that reach this stage give up and quit. And I believe that for 2 reasons: feelings of overwhelm and a lack of clarity. And I get it, because I experienced both of these things. So here are 3 simple tips for surviving. First, identify your core values. When you understand what you value, it becomes easier to focus on what matters to you. This means you know with all certainty who you are, who you're not, what's important to you, and what's not important to you. The benefit of this is that it gives you a starting point to run your decluttering decisions through. And by that, I mean when you're in the middle of decluttering your life, and you're contemplating whether or not you want to keep something, or get rid of something. The second tip is to ignore the aesthetics. Social media is a free resource for minimalism and decluttering advice, but at the same time, the minimalist aesthetic plastered everywhere can be intimidating. So please, please, please ignore it. Use the version of minimalism you see online as inspiration and not the template. And I feel it's appropriate for me to say this, because I'm not oblivious to how my home looks in my YouTube videos, to you and the rest of the public. But if you observe closely, you'll notice that I've never tried to convince you to recreate my home or my family's lifestyle. Instead, my goal is to help you prioritize your values and create an environment that supports what you care about. The third tip is to develop structure and systems to help you declutter. The one thing you don't want to do is dive headfirst into your decluttering journey without any structure or a clear action plan to help you navigate your clutter. Regardless of how eager and excited you are to start letting go, doing this will result in more overwhelm than necessary and likely lead to you quitting and giving up on decluttering altogether, or sitting in what I call the frozen zone, where you are so overwhelmed and have no idea where to start that you just freeze. Stage 3, building systems. Think of systems as organized methods you can use to achieve long-lasting results while avoiding feeling overwhelmed. Let me explain how to start. Step 1 is to assess your clutter. I like to call this building a project bank. Essentially, a project bank is a running list of all the decluttering tasks you need to tackle in your home and life. The idea is to continuously update this list in real time. Here's what I mean. Imagine you have a hallway closet packed full. Every time you open it, you think to yourself, I really need to set aside time to sort through all of this and decide what to keep. Similarly, you might have thoughts about the books you've accumulated or the boxes in your basement that need sorting. The goal of the project bank is to add these tasks to the list as soon as they come to mind or as you encounter them in your daily routine. The great thing about this is that your project bank helps alleviate the overwhelming feeling of not knowing where to start. For example, if you have a free weekend or some spare hours for decluttering, you can refer to this list of tasks instead of feeling paralyzed by indecision. Step 2 is to select one task from your project bank and start planning how to declutter that specific area. You can create a personalized decluttering checklist using tips and strategies from various sources, including myself and other YouTubers. All right, stage 4 is work-focused. Once you have systems in place, it becomes easier to maintain a clutter-free life long-term, which gives you the freedom to shift your attention to other aspects of life, specifically the role you want your career to play in your life. Now, I'm currently in stage 4, and here are some examples of how I'm shifting the role of work in my life right now. One way I'm making a change is by venturing into entrepreneurship. I made the decision to leave my corporate job just under 2 months ago, after dedicating 8 years to it. However, the direction I envision for my life diverges significantly from the path I was on while working in the corporate world. Thus, I chose to leave in pursuit of a more fulfilling career. Presently, I'm integrating the principles of minimalism into my journey as a solopreneur, focusing on both establishing a business and creating content. My aim is for my work to enhance my life rather than consume it. In other words, I want my career to complement my lifestyle, not define it. The second thing I'm doing is implementing a values-first strategy. I've committed to not allowing a come-up to come before my character. Because at the end of the day, I want to do work that affords me the freedom to prioritize my values and put my family first. For me, this makes growing my business and earning more income much more rewarding when the growth happens. Because it's feeding a larger vision that I have, the final stage revolves around building generational wealth and initiating actions that shape the future of your family for generations to come. Now, I haven't fully entered this stage yet, so I can't discuss it as thoroughly as the first 4 stages. However, here's how I might conceptualize it. There are 4 perspectives on generational wealth. 1. Time. Wealth. When your life is free of clutter, you prioritize your values, and you engage in meaningful work on your own terms, you possess a wealth of time. Each person is granted 24 hours a day to utilize. On average, 6 to 8 hours are spent sleeping, making time our most valuable asset. Utilizing your available time for meaningful activities with loved ones makes a significant impact. 2. Experience wealth. More available time for meaningful pursuits translates to richer experiences. Take your partner on that dream vacation, treat them to a regular brunch date, or spend quality time with aging parents. Being present and creating memories with your children instead of being consumed by work contributes immensely to your life's richness. 3. Monetary wealth. With the appropriate vision, tools, and action plan, your endeavors can serve as the initial steps toward establishing multiple income streams. Consider this perspective. If you can discuss any topic for 30 minutes, you can monetize your knowledge. While this may not be our default mindset, I encourage you to leverage your existing knowledge and resources to generate multiple income streams for yourself and your family. Live off one stream while utilizing others for investment, thereby building monetary wealth for future generations. 4. Knowledge. Wealth. My aim is to share the wisdom I've gained from life and business through the perspective of minimalism with my family. I hope they'll build on it and pass it down to future generations. Think of it like starting a chain reaction. By initiating the process, I want to create a lasting legacy of knowledge that keeps growing over time. However, I'll truly understand this stage better when I reach it myself. And when that happens, you'll be the first to know. Feel free to share which stage of minimalism you're currently in on your journey. Keep evolving, keep learning, and always stay true to yourself. If you find this video interesting and necessary for you, please press the like and subscribe button so I can be motivated to make more videos. Until next time, take care.